Hey guys, ChasingComets back again with another video. Today, we're doing something a little bit chill, like just gestures. Technically, the game is called Either, but that doesn't matter, it's literally just Would You Rather. I thought it'd be fun. This is a nice way to kind of let you guys get to know me and how my brain works, and then use it against me probably. So if you guys are cool with that, keep watching and let's answer some questions together, shall we? Would you rather kiss Voldemort or kiss Hitler? So I can kiss a fictional evil guy or a real evil guy. I think that's kind of obvious. Would you rather hear your parents having sex or arguing? With my childhood, that just got really dark real fast. Would you rather have a monster truck or have a chariot with horses? Are you kidding me? Like, I want to feel like an ethereal goddess coming in with a chariot pulled by horses. Better yet, it better be a nice mix. It better be like Pegasuses or Pegasi horses, like regular ones like Clydesdales and stuff, tough, and like maybe like a rare occasional unicorn or something. Like, are you serious? You would rather have a monster truck? The monster truck with a chariot with horses? Would you rather have the first name refrigerator or have the first name dishwasher? Disgusting! The way I'm seeing it is that refrigerator you can actually shorten to like a nickname. Meanwhile, dishwasher, what the? How would you call somebody, like what nickname would you give them if their name was dishwasher? Sentences I never thought I'd say. So, just for the sake of shortening it to fridge, I'd rather be named refrigerator. Would you rather get a paper cut on your hand once a week or have 1 foot fall asleep every 3rd hour for 30 minutes? I don't know, like, the thing is, the title to it is saying pain or annoyance, but for me, whenever, like, a part of my body falls asleep, it kind of does hurt. Especially since I'm trying to, like, will myself out of it, like, wake up. I think I'd rather get a paper cut on my hand once a week just because I also do that naturally anyway. I don't know about once a week exactly, but, like, I'm pretty good at hurting myself on accident. Like, not intentionally, just on accident. I do it constantly when I'm at work, and I always come home, my mom's like, we need to wrap you in bubble wrap or something, because, like, this ain't gonna work. Chocolate or vanilla? That's not really a would you rather question, that's just a which do you prefer question. Honestly, this is kind of a conflicting thing for me. I like both. Is that a controversial statement, like, to like both? A lot of people are just like, if you like vanilla, you're a basic and it's like... But also, you could totally get tired of chocolate constantly, and with vanilla, you can actually mix stuff into it, like, do you want some peppermint in your vanilla? Do you want some pumpkin spice in your vanilla? Meanwhile, you try to put that in chocolate, sometimes it could turn out good, but other times maybe not so much. So, I guess I'll go with vanilla. It's a basic thing, but you can do so much to it is the thing, so. And so many people disagree with that. Would you rather glue your eyes shut with super glue or spill hot glue over your naked lap? Oh god. I almost grabbed nail glue instead of lash glue today. And I don't like thinking about that. I'd rather go with hot glue. Would you rather go back in time and correct the single biggest mistake of your life, or go way back in time and come up with a Pythagorean theorem before Have you
ever had a dream that you once
go way back in time and come up with the Pythagorean theorem before Pythagoras so you can have an equation named after you? I don't care. I'd rather go back in time and correct the single biggest mistake of my life. Would you rather the world be full of atheists or the world be full of Christians? This is gonna get controversial, y'all, but I'm gonna have to go with atheists because at least then they're more accepting than half of the Christians on this planet. Some people there, like, I know it was pretty split, but some people there are probably thinking, like, if the world was full of Christians, maybe it'd be full of people who are actually kind, but then of course there's the flip side of it, where you gotta realize, just because you're religious doesn't make you a good person. Would you rather be a hometown hero or be a C-level celebrity no one really likes? Do I want the approval of people in my hometown? I don't think so. Half of them are like racists. I made my decision. If you had kids, would you rather regurgitate food to feed them or lick your children to bathe them? Of course, it's with human anatomy here, so like, I'd rather regurgitate food, I think. Why would I want to lick a naked kid's body? Nobody take that out of context. Would you rather suck a hobo's toe for 2 minutes or be in a cage with a honey badger and lion for 20 seconds? With a honey badger and a lion in the same cage as me, do you think they'd turn to themselves first or to me first? Do I have an option to run around if I want, or am I just stuck stationary in one position for this 20 seconds? I'm gonna go dangerous. Be in a cage with a honey badger and lion for 20 seconds, baby. Oh, 69% of people agreed with me on that one. Hey. Would you rather kill a 5-year-old girl's puppy or kill an old lady's cat? This is just rude. Guess some 5-year-olds living with trauma then. Would you rather have comically large feet or have a comically oversized head? Probably the oversized head so that way I can match my ego. Okay, would you rather only drink black coffee or only eat dry cereal? Dry cereal. I've eaten dry cereal before, and at least then you still get the sugary goodness of cereal, but with black coffee you just get bitter. Like, why would you choose that over sweet, sweet cereal? Like, what? Oh, would you rather explode or implode? Oh, the question of the decade, man. Exploding would be more like you get torn apart, but imploding is more or less like a huge pressure inside of you that just like builds and builds and builds until you just kind of like... I feel like imploding would be a lot more excruciating pain, I feel like. Both would suck in a sense, if you can feel it in the second that you die, but I feel like imploding would be a lot more tension and a lot more pain in that split second, so I think I'll just go with exploding. Would you rather be allergic to sugar or be forced to wear ponchos 24/7? I'd rather be forced to wear ponchos 24/7. At least I'd be fashionable and able to eat sugar. Would it be illegal if I just start eating crackers? Would you rather eat crackers or bacon? I know my choice. And I say, our last question of the day is, would you rather have the feeling of being kicked in the testicles for 12 hours a day or never be able to produce healthy children? Well, me not wanting children, I think I know what I'm choosing. I think this is the end of our questions for today. If you have any unique would you rather questions that you would like me to answer or for others to answer, leave them in the comments below, and I'm sure me and others would be happy to respond to them. If you guys enjoyed this video, press that like button down below and subscribe as well if you haven't already. And also, next to the subscribe button should be a bell icon, and if you tap that, you're gonna get notified every single time I upload a video. That being said, stay safe, and I'll see you later, my little cosmic cuties.